called Genergy on the ground. In 1800, Alessandro Volta invented the battery. It was originally called a pile. Well, he called it the electric organ, but well, it was ultimately a stack that was copper and zinc separated with a cloth of salt water, and there it created the potential. Well, there was an energy, and that was called a pile because of that stacking. Then when several elements of these stacks were placed one to each other in a battery, it was given the name battery. Both a battery and a battery were that batteries that when their energy ran out, they were discarded, they were not rechargeable. We have to wait until 1859 when Gascon plants. A French scientist invents the rechargeable battery. Why am I telling you this? I'm telling this because there is no exact definite date. When the battery charger was invented, there are several various patents, but there is not a single O that says, hey, not me. When was it invented? Well, if in 1859 this scientist took out the first battery that was rechargeable, then the need to recharge that battery appeared, and therefore from there battery chargers would be born that converted alternating current into direct current, or it would be charged with direct current directly from dynamos, etc., etc. Well, there we already have the battery and the battery charger. Why am I counting? I say why. Today I want to show you therefore our energy stations that are also internal batteries, a very evolved battery. Nothing to do with what we're talking about lead acid. We are talking about high durability battery. A lead acid battery, if you discharge it to 30 or 40% bad, that is the most you should do is discharge as much and not always 25%. So these batteries can handle 70% discharges and stuff like that. I mean, this is another world. But what I want to come to is that we can use these batteries, these power stations in various ways. You have already seen the large number of ways that we can use, because in the end it is still an energy that you take portable. Let's do the intro and I'll explain to you what I want to do with these power stations today. Come on. Well, look, when a lead acid battery, the one that our cars or our agricultural machinery carry, also includes harvesters, tractors, all that number of vehicles from the agricultural world, and especially the motorcycles that we also have at home, cars that we don't use too much. Well, these cars, the electronics that they have incorporated when they are latent, that is, they are stopped because they are, as I said, latent. That is, they are consuming clock energy, maintaining electronics, maintaining their memories, personal configurations such as the radio, etc. Miles of oil, I don't know how good that is. In a normal car, it will cost you around 14 watts of consumption. We are more or less going to see it today. That means that when a car is stopped for too long, we run out of battery. Well, I want to show you the other day. You saw in the previous chapter, the previous one, 2 chapters ago, I think you saw me with the bike. I had placed this power station in the luggage rack of my bicycle, since I was now able to walk independently. I don't know. Then I did the cold count at home and I was over 150 calories more with the battery charge of my power station. So good autonomy. Well, today I want to show you to what extent with a team like this that as of today, that we're in 2025, in September it will cost the public 170K. And how can we save that battery in our car with a unit of this type? Would you like to see it? Well, let's go. This is a simple way of how we would place the power station for battery maintenance. Well, I have it plugged into the network. I have placed the negative output clamp from where the lighter of our unit comes out of the power station, which in this case we are using 0.02806. Like I say, the smallest of them all. Here's the negative, here's the positive, and now I'm going to turn on the direct current output of the lighter. Okay, there it is on. Look, in principle it's going down. That is, it's charging at 87 watts. The battery will charge to 79.77. That is, it will go down until it stabilizes at a minimum. That minimum at which it is going to stabilize is going to be the consumer level of the car's own electronics. That is, it is not going to consume us anything more than that. And when the recharging energy station reaches 100%, it will remain in that surveillance. Can we use it like this? Yes, we can also use it so that it is not even connected to the network, for example. This could be the case, okay, not connected to the network. Okay, there she's not connected to the network, and we do the same thing. Okay, look there, and right now it's balanced. 12 volts that the battery has is charged at more than 12 volts or at 12 volts, such as the output. Here it is also 12 volts that is turned on, since right now what the battery is providing is 0. I'm going to open the door, for example, to make a consumption of the vehicle, and we'll see if it affects it. To load. Okay, there we see the dashboard now of the display. Like now, since the door has opened, well, I immediately started to put in those 2 or 3 watts. What I am consuming is the little bulb inside. Okay, if we want the lights, then it would incorporate that energy, and here it is giving us the time it needs that it would be there. In standby, the station, that is the battery time the station itself has, is valid with that consumption. If I connect it to the network, then the same thing. That is, the station will start charging because it is at 97 until it reaches 100%. Okay, and she continues as we see powering the battery. I'm gonna close the door. And so it would be in maintenance. Like I say, okay, well, this would be what we can use in this way. Leave it for a day, 2 days, whatever we want. From time to time, use the station for other things, and from time to time come to the battery and do this maintenance. It's as if we started the car for 1 or 2 hours to recharge the battery. In this case, we don't need to start the car, but I get to the power station. I place it as it is put on, and I always keep the battery charged. Remember that these batteries below a certain discharge percentage will not last long. That is, they cannot be discharged, and then when you get to the car and you no longer start, well, bad case. So another way to use the power station is in this way, the maintenance of our batteries. Okay, let's move on. Now it is already charged, it is connected to the network. We are seeing that it is 100% and it is putting in a good 6 watts. This will end up with nothing, okay? It's putting in some charge, but it's really priceless. That is, the battery is charged and finally it's going to end up well with him. with a percentage of nothing light, not there waking up, maintaining the electronics. But it's going to keep us on a perfect battery. We are also going to do it in the little tractor so that you can see that the result is going to be more or less the same. Okay, I disconnect it from the network. I disconnect the battery. Let's plug it into the junk for you to see. Well, basically it is the same, but so you can see that in an agricultural machine, it is also essential to maintain the battery. Well, that's in good condition because they are also equipment that is used perhaps during spring or summer, that is in a certain season. And then, well, they are not used. Okay, let's prepare a stool here so that we can see it and turn on our unit. There it is. Remember, it's already at 100% charge, and we turn on the DC. Well, that's already there. That's taken it out. Look, come on, it's getting in like we saw it before. It's going down. It goes down 3030292827 until the two batteries are equal, and once they are equal, they simply stay there. The two equalized ones are direct current, a pure direct current and fine, and there they remain equalized that the tractor demands battery energy because it has a consumption of the clock, etc. Well, the same thing we have seen before. The unit is going to replace it. That you want to leave her connected to the network because you are leaving it. I don't know, I leave it for 4 days or 5 days because I need the power station, and while it is charging I leave it there. If the battery is a little discharged, I will recover the battery and then I will take the power station. What I want to say is that we can have a power station like this. The 2024H, the 40, the one you have, it doesn't matter which one you have, you can do this with your car. This is a small one that, as I said a moment ago, is worth 170, which is why it is used to do this type of thing. And well, I'm getting out of the car now for 3 weeks. I haven't said anything to the car. I'm going to put on the motorcycle today. I'm going to put my power station, well, 4 or 5 hours, because then I'm going to go with the station to another place. It doesn't matter if in 4 or 5 hours the station levels the battery and it's going to go to 0. I don't know where it will go, but this site is already for 10. Okay, 10 pen of 10. Okay, there it is. Now it is already for 10 of 10, 12. Okay, it's charging. Okay, 12 watts, 11 watts each. It goes down until finally, well, that makes it equal to its image and likeness, right? Well, it's that simple. Another utility with which we can use our energy stations. I already dressed the other day with the bicycle. Well, another one, you have to open your mind. We continue. Well, you have already seen how you can maintain those batteries of our equipment, measure the content, what a battery contains. I have a normal multimeter here. There are superior ones in capabilities of measurement. This is capable of reaching up to 20 amperes of measurement. And I can know the amperes that this small battery has, for example, just like we could do in a battery. Look here, it's giving me 4.60 and so many amps, okay? I mean, this is a 1.5 volt battery. So if we multiply that amount by a 1.5 volt, it would give us the watts this little one holds. Battery, like us with the energy station, we have already seen the watts that I have for maintenance. That is when we have placed the battery, the station, you have already seen, as I explained to you, that the watts of consumption towards the battery begins to rise. But there comes a moment when it stabilizes, and at that moment it stabilizes. The only thing I read here is car consumption. Now I'm not draining the battery anymore, I'm powering the memories. Alright, well, here we are going to leave it for today. I think this has been a lesson that can be useful to all of us, and I want to comment and invite you to visit our webgenergy.es page. On this page that you are now viewing, you can find multiple characteristics of these energy stations. You can see all the diversity of models that we have with different powers depending on what we want to do. As I always say before the purchase, before making the purchase decision, good, deep and extensive information is advisable, deep in broad knowledge in modeling and nothing more. My colleagues' phones and mine. And our email at your disposal for those queries. Important also in this channel, we always say it when saying goodbye, forbidden, stop learning,